Hi guys, it's Mr. T here. Um, Hopefully this will be even shorter than some of my videos. Just doing a quick review on getting this set up to factor by grouping. So we have on the screen here our graphic organizer for factoring. Remind us to always check for our common factor first. But what happens when you have a trinomial that doesn't have an a equal to 1? So we talks about factoring by grouping. Or if you have four terms, factoring by grouping. And so to get us set up for this factoring by grouping, I first want to do just a couple little practice worksheets where we go from this step up to here and then from here to there. And so getting us warmed up for doing the whole process. So let's jump over to those worksheets real quickly and just these are warm up kind of things. And so we got an example here for the first one. Um, and so we're starting at this one step away from getting it completely factored kind of situation. And if you'll notice here, these binomials are exactly the same. I call them twinsies. Okay. And what happens is we're going to be really doing factoring by the greatest common factor because that is a common factor. So we're going to pull out the common factor right over here. Okay. Well, a lot of times we put the common factor in front, but you can put it in front or back. And then what happens when you pull out the common factor? Well, you're going to put the others into their own little group. So I call them the loners. The loners. They make their own little loners group. Okay. So let's look at another one here. W squared times 3w minus 1. They say, well, there's not a loner here. Oh, yes, there is. Remember, there's a 1 sitting right out here in front. And so what we're going to do is we're going to bring our loners together, and they're going to make their own little loners group. Okay. And then let me highlight here our twinsies, and our twinsies are going to come together and make their own little twinsies group. Okay. So that's kind of the deal behind that. So on number 10, remember there's a 1 in front. Okay. Just go straight. Don't forget to bring your minus with the 5 on number 4. Let's go down here to the second half of the page. Some people get thrown off by the fact that you got a K on the background, but that's fine. Just remember you also have a 1 hanging out over here or in front, either way. So that would be your loners there. And then some people get messed up with these parentheses. But just because you have parentheses, it's really no different than number 5 where you have a 2b. That's 2b times, and that means 2c times. So just has parentheses. It's no different than number 13. Yeah, number 13 and number 7, pretty much the same thing, just happens to have parentheses, so you get used to looking at it in different ways. So that's the first page, and getting us setting up for it's kind of a pre-grouping worksheet. Now, I want you to pause the video, and I want you to work this worksheet, okay? Because I'm about to start the other side of the worksheet, but until you finish the front side, it doesn't do you much good. So pause the video. Okay, so you've finished the front page. Now let's go to the back page. All right, so the back page is going to add another step for it. So we're getting a setup called factoring by grouping. So it's our pre-setup for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually set up groups. Let's make this a little thinner. Okay, and so if I just take this first group, what is the common factor, the greatest common factor? Well, that's 2x. Okay, so you pull out the 2x and you're left with 5x minus 6. Real quick check. How can I always quick check? 2x times 5x. Is that 10x to the third? It is not. Okay, it is not because that's supposed to be a square right there. Get that guy fixed up real quick. There we go. So that should have been a square. And then now we're in business. 2x squared times 5x. I should have done this before. I would have noticed that error, wouldn't I? And that gives us back to what we need to do. Okay, and then over here, I suggest that you do this. Go ahead and write this portion of it first, and then figure out the middle. But what's going on here? So on this one, I'm only going to underline it, not put it in parentheses. Because if I put it in parentheses, it's going to look like FOIL method, and that might confuse you. We don't want to do that. Basically, we're going to take the first two and factor, GCF factor, and then we're going to take the second two, or group the second group, and GCF factor there. So what do we have? Pull out the -3 out of both of those, and looky there. There's our twinsies. There's our twinsies again, right? Here are twinsies. Isn't that good? All right. So, and that's what's going to go right here. We're going to put your 5x and then -6 there. You can hardly see that. So let me see if I can't put that right inside, and then you have the highlighted information. There we go. So now they're highlighted. So there's your twinsies. Let me walk you through this another time. And so this is a little process that my one of my students called Alex Susinski. I think I pronounced it right. That was pretty close anyway. So he said, okay, we're going to group our first two like we always do. Let me get that. So do the first two here. And go ahead and pull out your y squared. So you get your y plus 1. And what Alex said do, instead of just taking your second group and doing GCF on it and see what happens, he said, we're always going to have these twinsies happening. So let's go ahead and write down at y plus 1. Just go ahead and leave some space in the middle and write down y plus 1. Because if this is going to work, these are going to have to be the same. And then come back and figure out what goes here. So y times what gives me positive 2y? Well, that's positive 2. Let's do a quick check. 2 times that? 2 times 1? Sure enough. So again, just do your GCF on the first group, rewrite the binomial, and then just figure out what goes in front. And then you're ready to bring together your loners. And then put together your twinsies. And they just come together and meld into one little group. Twinsies, yay, we're all together. Okay, and so that is our 2 steps, getting us one more step we can add, and we'll be ready to do factor by grouping from scratch. Okay, so work through this worksheet, practicing these 2 steps of our pre-grouping exercises. Okay, let me double check, make sure there's nothing else I want to mention to you. Okay, I think we're good. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good day.